Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I am here this beautiful Monday morning with David. Happy Valentine's Day, David.
Well, thank you.
This is not a Valentine's Day episode, but you have to be in the mood on a day like today. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where David and I, and sometimes our guests, glean through the most powerful and practical tools from the wisdom of Kabbalah to share with you on how to best navigate the opportunities and the potential pitfalls of the coming week. And inevitably, the episode ends up leaving for our listeners juicy nuggets of powerful wisdom and actionable items that you can really use anytime, anywhere. And this week we are talking about, I think the title is Taking Pleasure in Patience, which sounds sadistic, if you ask me, but really is the secret to getting everything that you want in life. And that's why it is so annoying. And if you know me, you know I say the wisdom of Kabbalah is very annoying because it is so true and we forget it and we slip up and then we remember it and we say, oh my God, that's so annoying because we knew it and we should have listened or behaved accordingly and we didn't.
Yep. Well, this is a powerful topic. And I think, like we said in last week's show, that you're not tuning in for the content, you're tuning in for the energy. And it's supposed to boost the energy that we feel inside of ourselves, which is really elevating our consciousness so that when that test comes and that pain comes and that lack comes, which it always does, right? It has to. We feel the strength to pause and we feel the strength not to run to instant gratification, which is the essence of everything we're teaching here at the Kabbalah Centre. When you connect with instant gratification from that place of lack and fear, you are connecting to a reality of darkness and pain and chaos. Even though at that moment you feel good, we've chosen the path that ends up being filled with all the things that we don't want. And the opposite of that is to become like the Creator, to not be reactive, to say no to your lack and pain, and as a result, transform it. And that's how you connect with the tree of life. And that's how miracles happen. And that's why people love Kabbalah, for this one concept, I think. And everything branches from this one concept, the transformation of our lack. So this is the whole point of tuning in. Even if you just start tuning in for 5 or 10 minutes, that's okay. You're getting the energy to overcome your challenges when they surface.
You said something before. I'm not going to let you get away without expanding on it. You said tree of life. That sounds very mysterious and mystical.
Yeah.
It's
Kabbalistic terminology. We've heard it a lot. It can sound odd when it's not explained. So good that you brought it up. The Kabbalists explain that there are just two realities. There are laws that govern both. Tree of life is just another word for the miraculous, fulfilling. You're connected. You're tapped in. Green lights. Things are working for you. There's fulfillment. There's peace of mind. It's a reality that physically you don't notice anything different. But the whole universe starts to support you in that reality. And there's a choice to connect to that reality. You can only connect to that reality when you are in a painful situation and you transform. The opposite of that reality is what's called the tree of knowledge. It's very biblical, I know, so try to put that aside. But
they're codes.
They're codes. Tree of knowledge, good and evil. This is the reality of instant gratification. I eat what I kill. It's all about me. I need to use my brains and my smarts and my experience to just make things happen. 80% of my life is torture, but I try to get at least a couple % here and there where it's good. And that is the tree of knowledge. And people are tired of that reality. People find that reality has a deficit. It's very draining. This is why they tune into spirituality. This is why they come to Kabbalah, because they want more. It doesn't make sense that we're all suffering and killing ourselves for just moments of pleasure. That's not the way it's supposed to be. That's not why we came to this world. The Creator created us to have endless pleasure and fulfillment, and we are meant to have it. It is our birthright. We can have it. We will have it. And Kabbalah is the system of how to get there.
Right. And I think that that's an important distinction to make, because part of what we're talking about this week is how to detach ourselves from the need to have knowledge, control, confirmation, guarantees, etc. right now,
Yeah.
and to be open to let the process unfold. And that's in our modern times, it is really difficult to be patient. Society, or I mean, I can give you 100 examples, right? We want overnight shipping. We're upset when our phone is lagging or isn't downloading right away. We get angry when people don't answer the phone or don't email back. It's like this, we suffer from what I think what's called urgency culture, like the need to know right now, the need to have right now. If my meal can't be delivered in 30 minutes or less, I don't want to eat.
Yep.
Right? And we will do that. I can't get my meal right now. I'm going to have a snack instead. And that the problem with that, according to the Kabbalists, is that we're here in the physical reality for the sake of elevating, not for the sake of being enslaved by the physical reality. And yet time only exists in the physical reality. Like in the reality David was talking about, the tree of life, in the metaphysical realm, when we're attached to endless blessings and endless security and all those good things, there is no timetable, right? According to Kabbalah, time is a measurement tool for energy. It is not a way to compete with anybody else or ourselves. It's not I don't know how to say it. It's like we are on this hamster wheel waiting to get off or waiting to get on. And Kabbalah teaches the hamster wheel doesn't really exist.
I remember reading an article about a guy who he was a white collar criminal. He was kind of living his whole life with instant gratification, taking this from here, this scheme, that scheme, constantly chasing the buck, and eventually it caught up with him and he went to prison. And he got out, and he said something that was so powerful, and I remember it till today, and it kind of came to my mind as you said it. He said, there's one thing you will never find in prison. What do you think that is? I mean, there's so many answers that obviously come to your mind, but you'll never guess this answer that he said that was so profound. He's like, there's one thing you'll never...
calendar?
There's one thing you'll never see in prison.
What?
He said, you'll never see people running because there's nowhere to go. There's no rush. He said, you're not running, you're not trying to get somewhere because literally you have nowhere to go. And it's not like there's a rush, right? And I found that to be so powerful, and maybe you do too, because prison was the eventual result, which was like the universe's way of correcting his insatiable need to receive for himself. So what prison did is it put a huge curtain, like a kibosh, on you now cannot take. There's nowhere to go. There's no running. Take your time now. And it forced him to go inside, obviously, right? Again, I'm not getting into a debate about prison and its corrective ability or not. But just this one powerful concept, which he learned how to do. Now, why is that powerful for me is I'm always asking myself throughout the day, if I was in prison, what would I be doing? I wouldn't be attacking this thing the way I'm attacking it. It's actually good to let go and realize there's no rush. It's okay. It's okay. And this is especially for people who feel addicted and feel that they have the need to be productive all the time. Need to fill my calendar with something. If I have nothing to do, I need to be doing something. Something that I found very powerful as a practice in Kabbalah and spirituality, as I read so many books about what the Kabbalists did. What did the Kabbalists do with their time? And what they did a lot of, which is so effective. It's so hard to do. It's so simple, but it's so hard to do, and so effective if you can do it. I remember I was supposed to have dinner with my wife at 7:30, and then she's like, oh, I have a meeting. It's going to go till 8:30. I said, well, I have an hour now. What am I going to do? So I just sat there. I closed my eyes, and I talked with the Creator, and I focused on asking the Creator for like a half an hour straight to help me with this like one thing I want to change about myself. So for half an hour, that's all I did. Just talk to the Creator about that. I went deep, I went inside, and as I was talking to the Creator, I said, please help me with this thing. I just said it over and over again like a mantra. Thoughts, visions of my whole life of when I didn't do that thing and all the mistakes. And then I said, oh, and I would put energy towards that, and I would say, okay, you know what, I made that mistake. I want to put light there, and thank you, and I love you, and I'm sorry. And I would just kind of like all the things, the tools we learn in Kabbalah of how to transform darkness to light. It was a half hour. Now I could have got on my phone. I could have caught up on emails. I could have done so many different things, but I just said, you know what? Go deep. Go inside. I think that's the antidote of the busybody, the person who's addicted to the pace, is do nothing, go inside and talk to the Creator.
Well, I think that there is a purpose to the speeding up of things. It's not accidental that things feel like they're going faster or there's not enough time. And I think you mentioned a few weeks ago, even when we know somebody who passes away, it awakens within us an urgency, a sense of time is limited. I can't waste my time. There is a spiritual value for that. And the interesting thing is that it's not about a watch or a calendar. It's more about seizing the opportunity of the moment, which is very different from rushing. And I want to make that distinction because we talk a lot in the Weekly Energy Boost about making choices, choosing, cause and effect, planting seeds. This doesn't mean take a vacation in Bermuda and let things play out. What it means is that the impatience, the urge that we have to get things done or to have them done a certain way or to know what's going to be, that's where the problem lies. We're not talking about waiting. I don't know what's a common thing you have to wait for and you don't have a choice. A baby. A baby has to take a certain amount of time in order for it to manifest. Even when if you're dealing with real estate, right? There's escrow, there's contingencies, there's all different things that need. We're not talking about embracing those moments where you have no choice but to wait, even though you can be impatient in those moments too. What we're talking about here is knowing, the title on purpose is taking pleasure in patience, knowing that if I can manage to allow the process to take place without micromanaging it, without controlling it, without strong-arming other people, without taking what's not mine or taking what's mine so fast that I don't allow or empower anybody else around me to do or to be a part of that process. That's where the challenge is. And I feel like I can be an expert on that, if I'm honest.
Yes, you're an expert.
One of the things that the Kabbalists teach, which again is a little bit deep, and I don't know we'll go all the way into it, is that our birthday says something about our soul. And my birthday is in this week, where the energy is about impatience.
But in this week, actually, not to get technical,
yes.
Because of the leap year whole thing.
No, this is my
the
week in which I was
both born in the leap year type scenario.
Right. So this is the week of my birthday, and the weekly energy, the portion that is connected to my soul as well.
The biblical, spiritual biblical portion. Yeah.
Right. So I take it very personally, and I can tell you that within this, the secrets that are revealed about this week's energy, the secrets that are revealed by the Kabbalists and the Zohar and the other writings are very personal to me. They are definitely calling me on my stuff. And I find that it's not about impatience as much as it is about to not have the patience for the process, right? To not allow people the space to grow or to come to their own conclusion. And as a teacher, that's very difficult because I work with amazing people who have amazing abilities and qualities and strengths. And sometimes it takes them longer than I'd like to reach the levels that I know they can reach. And there's nothing more gratifying. We talked about this also a couple months ago. It's so gratifying when someone that you're working with achieves their next level, reaches a milestone, masters themselves in a new way, and knowing it could have been a year ago or 6 months ago. That's where it is. It's really the remembering that the process is the purpose. That's what this week is about. that the ultimate goal isn't yet determined. I'm going to say that again because maybe that's the most important thing we're going to say this week. The outcome, the manifestation, the result isn't determined until it's manifested. Every step that you take, every shift in consciousness that you have, every seed that you plant right now is affecting the outcome. So that which you don't have patience for hasn't been created yet. It's being created either through your impatience or your patience. And that's why the Kabbalists were so good at being patient and allowing people their processes, because that's what actually creates the final outcome.
All right, so what you just said is very important. We got to just
Please. David Guillemot.
We have to read it. But what Elisheva just said is, let's say, gosh, what is the best way to put this? Let's say there's an object that you want and you can't have it yet, so you have to be patient. What we're saying here is, by being patient for, let's say, those 7 days, not even knowing what the outcome is, the actual act of letting go for 7 days is what creates the object. We think that those 7 days are just a total waste of time.
And they're in the way.
And they're in the way of the object that's already made. And you're saying, no, the object's not even made yet. And here's what's so powerful. If I had to put this in the context of relationships, if I'm looking for a relationship to satisfy me, the thought is, well, that person is there, and why can't I be with them? What we're really saying is, the person's not there yet. By you letting go every day and having certainty and doing all the spiritual work that we talk about, because Kabbalah is a combination of two things: transforming yourself and then having certainty, meaning you have to let go of the outcome. You do that every day. You do that. You formulate the soulmate that then becomes part of your life, as opposed to, us thinking that the soulmate is there, right? And it's just annoying that I'm not with this person yet.
Not only that, but what it shows us is that nothing is static, which again can be annoying, but it can also be greatly empowering. We say all the time, we throw out words like, if you don't like your reality, change it. And then people say, well, I can't change my boss, or I can't. Yes, you can. And we have seen, we wouldn't say it if we had not seen it ourselves. A person changes their attitude, their mindset, their behavior, their words, their intentions at work, and suddenly their boss is transferred to a different department and they have another boss. Mm-hmm. Or, by the way, they get let go. Mm-hmm. The person who was being the most spiritual being on the planet suddenly is let go from their job. Elisheva, how can that be a good thing? Uh-huh. The answer is that by elevating who I am, like David said, transforming myself and having certainty, I am creating my future. That's the reason to be focused on the process and not the outcome. By embracing the process, I speed up the process. By being present in the moment and cognizant of the opportunities that are here, and usually they seem insignificant. They seem like they're in the way, mm-hmm. right? The person who asks us for, we're rushing off somewhere and someone stops us on the street and asks us for directions, or in that moment, the universe is telling you, David, you are buying your future by having patience with this person who's lost.
Go, please.
No, that's it. I'm just saying, it's like those, we think that we earn our future or our blessings in the big monumental moments of, I did a fabulous presentation in front of the board. No, mm-hmm. It's in those small moments where our nature would be to rush through it, to write it off, to say it's insignificant. But instead, we looked for the light in it and we embraced it.
Letting go. A lot of times people think letting go is something I do when something doesn't go my way and then I got to let go. Letting go is also not just defense, but it's also offense. So the way the Kabbalists explain it is, even when everything is going great, we should ask the question, why me? And let it go. And not feel attached to it. Because we know that every time we're attached to something, the Creator takes it away. This is the rule. As soon as we become dependent on something or addicted to something, or we need that thing to determine our self-worth, or we need that thing to make us feel good, and without it we don't feel good, that's the calculus that we've reached on an object or a person or a job or whatever. The universe has this way of taking it away. Now, why? It's not as a punishment, but the rule is that when you're addicted to something or you need something, you become weak, and you're not becoming the greatest version of yourself. You're not becoming like the creators. You're actually going backwards from the thought of creation. That's why things are constantly being taken away from us, or they are disappointing us. As King David once said that all people will disappoint you. And what he's trying to say by that is, don't connect with people, have relationships with people, give to people, but do not rely on people for your self-worth. It will be taken away. Whatever it is that you're leaning on, at some point will be taken away to strengthen you, so that you can have a balanced relationship with it, or a synergistic one, a one that you know is there for you to elevate, but is not there for you to lean on. Of course, we lean on spouses and loved ones, but we're not saying that I need this person to determine who I am.
Well, I think that also begs the question, David, how do you cultivate patience? Right now I have no burning buildings in my life, nothing that I need to rush through, nothing I'm trying to manifest. How can I have that kind of blessing now without the goal in mind?
Say that one more time.
Or should I just answer it without listening
Well,
to
you
your
know
opinion?
what? So say it. Ask it because I want to hear it again.
I think that all of the examples that we have brought to light today seem monumental, right? We're buying our first house and there's all these snags in the process. I just want to get it over with. Why is everybody being so difficult? Or I'm drawing my soulmate. I'm doing everything by the books. What's going on? You know, right now, I believe I'm with my soulmate. I have a job that I enjoy, status quo, trying to be a spiritual person in the world. Yet I can also recognize I am desperate for energy sometimes. I don't like when people don't respect me. We need to learn also to apply it to the smaller things. What is it about having patience? Why should I be patient when I'm not working on anything? Why shouldn't I want my latte immediately?
Well, why aren't we working on anything?
There you go. Why aren't we working on anything?
I think people love to work on stuff when they're forced to, and making that as a proactive part of our lives. What can I work on now inside of myself? Proactively choosing it is what creates life, creates rejuvenation. It moves you forward. It teaches you lessons with mercy as opposed to with judgment.
No, I think that that's an important lesson this month, because in the month of Pisces, we all become a little bit Pisces, and a typical Pisces has a very passive desire.
That's right.
I'm good if it happens. I'm good if it doesn't. Maybe it's not in the cards for me, etc. and so forth. Very slogany.
I had some guy 2 weeks ago. He said to me, "All I want to do is buy some properties and have some passive income, and I'm good."
I had someone tell me that last week too.
And I said, just because you think that way, the Creator will never give you properties that have passive income. Let's move on to the next subject.
I didn't say that, but that's a good one too. But I want to move to Mexico and just have passive streams of income.
Mexico will not let you in, and you will have no passive income. You will actually have to work for every penny every day. So you will eat what you kill on a daily basis, because that's your mindset. When the mindset is my goal is to make it passive, then the universe will not support you. When your goal is, I want to get to a place that I can even be more proactive. And the way to become more proactive is, by the way, to have some properties that give you passive income. So you don't have to worry about paying that bill at that moment. You can focus on something else. This is the consciousness of the Creator.
The universe will not support you to do less. That's really what David is saying. If you're asking for stuff from the universe so that you can do less, you will not receive it.
You will not be successful. To be like a spiritual, back in the days, thousands of years ago, biblically, to be a judge, you actually had to have passive income, so to speak. You had to be so secure in your income, so then you could be 100% focused without bias.
I just read about that this weekend.
Yes.
That you wouldn't be interested in bribery. Because you don't need it.
Because you don't need it. Exactly. So
So funny.
and that's the reason why you want to be abundant and wealthy or whatever it is, so that you don't have to be needy of people's gifts. So you don't have to keep trying to take from people. Every time we enter a scenario, a relationship, we enter the zone in our mind of, well, what can I do with this person that eventually I can get something from them? Can they be, it's like I always feel bad for the brokers of the world, the real estate agents, because can they enter a relationship without thinking, well, at some point, maybe they'll let me sell their house, right? Even your own mom. It's like, can you have lunch with your mom without
You
thinking?
just see dollar signs walking
everywhere
around.
a dollar. Oh, you're a dollar sign, and you're a dollar sign. Everybody needs a home, right? So it's like yes. And even though you're trying to just have a normal relationship, somewhere deep down inside, you're thinking, well, at some point, hopefully, I can sell your home, and you take it personally when they give it to somebody else, because you're coming with the mentality. The best broker, the best real estate agent is going to be the one who is totally letting go. Totally letting go in every relationship, saying, I don't want to sell anyone's home. And everybody wants you to sell their home.
And I've seen people with that energy, that they have, 20, 30 listings at a time because they don't need anybody.
Yeah. Who am I giving my listing to? The guy who has too many listings.
Right. I think it's really profound. First of all, I love when David and I prepare independently, and then we have the same idea. But that perception that I am creating my own reality, and if I don't desire a greater reality, which means not less, it's more. And that to me is a really big lesson for this week and also this month, right? Having more doesn't mean doing less. The people who are uncomfortable are the people who seek out comfort. The people who are most comfortable are the ones who are willing to make effort. And if you are listening to us and you're saying, I don't need all that much. I don't, I'm okay with my little piece of, land over here, and I don't need to be bothered. The challenge with having that mentality, and maybe this is a good way to send our listeners off into the week or weeks, is it's not a problem to not want too much. But the challenge is that then we ask the universe to bring us situations that will force us to expand. And there's nothing worse for a Pisces than feeling uncomfortable. So hopefully I'm speaking to everybody's Piscean tendencies that are happening right now. And if you're a Pisces, I'm sure you're feeling this. The secret is to find the things to be patient on. In Kabbalah, we use the word restrict on. And restricting on the small things actually increases your desire. I can tell you from personal experience, as well as that it's written in the books, that if you can find those things to practice being patient on, the things that are not significant, the things that are not life or death or make it or break it, the things that are not big picture things, but in the small things, you will find that your ability to stretch yourself, your ability to let go on the bigger things is a lot easier. And so in the same way that when you go to the gym and you want to bulk up a little bit, you can't start with the 50-pound weights. You have to start with the 5-pound or the 10-pound weights. Start with the small things. Identify I don't want to belittle anybody by calling it silly. The small things in your life that you can let go of, right? Maybe you're looking for acknowledgement from your family. Maybe you're looking for, I don't know, you're playing the lottery and you're hoping it's all going to work out for you when I want to say those are the easy things. It's probably not easy if those are the things that you're thinking about, but the more you get into the habit of letting go, the easier it will be and the less external challenges you need. David said a few minutes ago, the goal is to do things when you have the freedom to do it. Right now, I'm married, I have a nice business, things are going well for me. That is the time to figure out what can I be working on right now. I had this conversation with a dear student of mine a couple weeks ago, and it became taking care of her physical health. That was a thing that she hadn't prioritized, and became increasingly clear that even though nothing is wrong right now, it's a really good time for her to implement some restrictions there. Restriction meaning resisting the body's desire to stay on the couch all day and work from, my easy chair, resisting the carb snacks that are right over there in the pantry now that I'm working at home. Those kind of things. That if we can find the small ways to bulk up that patience muscle, that letting go muscle, we will see miraculous things pop up that we didn't even know we needed or wanted.
Final word, in summary, I will say takeaways for this week and for the month of Pisces. Don't take inventory of where you are dependent on someone's energy, and you know that area. It's probably the area you're most upset and bothered because you're being tossed around like a rag doll of hot, cold, hot, cold. You get the energy, don't get the energy. Find a way to be independent of that energy, and the way to do that is through meditation, through talking to the Creator and saying, I don't need this. All I need is the light of the Creator. I don't need this energy. I want to give to it. I don't need it. All I need is the light of the Creator. That's number one. And number two, we talked about passive versus proactive. Being passive is inviting lessons from the universe that is a higher degree of judgment and pain. Proactive means that I'm setting up goals not so that I can be comfortable and passive. Proactive means I'm setting up goals to be able to increase my ability to give, increase my ability to channel, increase my ability to be productive. We do not want, the universe will not support a plan to end up being passive.
Do we have time for a listener question?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Okay. So I'm going to read to you an email we got. I think it's totally appropriate, even though she was asking about an episode from a few weeks ago. The question is, and David, I would love your weighing in on this because I already answered it personally, but I want to hear what you would say to her. She says, I've been listening to the Weekly Energy Boost podcast for so long, and I've recently listened to Turning Worry into Wonder. If it's okay with you, I wanted to ask you a question regarding this. I will soon be having a surgery. This is an elective cosmetic surgery that I've wanted for my entire life, and I'm now finally getting it. I've been excited about it for this whole time, but now that it is approaching in only 2 weeks, I'm suddenly having a lot of anxiety and panic attacks. I'm very nervous about it and wanted to ask you if it would be possible for you to provide a Kabbalistic perspective on this. I know in the podcast you guys speak about letting go of the things you want. It's very apropos for the end of this episode. So would that mean I should cancel my surgery? I really have wanted this, but I want to shift my mindset. Thank you so much.
Oh, do we know why she's anxious and worried? Because she's afraid it's going to go bad?
She didn't describe.
Okay.
She said she's having a lot of anxiety and panic attacks, and she's nervous about doing it. She doesn't say why.
So the lesson is not that we need to not do these things, right? If she wants to and it makes her happy, but she needs to kind of ask herself, if I didn't have it, could I still be as happy? Could I still be everything I want to be without it? She has to get to the point where that answer is yes. And then, so now what does she do? Does she have the surgery or not? Have the surgery to reveal. Like the Creator obviously also wants you to have the surgery because it's in your brain, it's in your mind. So go ahead and reveal who you're supposed to be after the surgery. But it's how you go into the surgery that's the issue. So it's an internal thing. The internal thing is, I don't need the surgery, so why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I feel, it brings me joy. Brings me joy. But I'll have joy otherwise. Yeah, but I'll also have joy this, and I feel like I need to reveal it. I got to go in some direction, so I'll go in this direction. And guess what? Being more beautiful or being whatever makes other people happy. It's beauty is an aspect of the Creator, so great. That's it. I mean, it's a simplified way of looking at stuff. I mean, we're not the ones here saying don't do anything and just suffer and just be happy.
Not only that, but I shared with her that it's possible to want something and be nervous about it at the same time. Sure. She's asking, well, what do I do with that nervousness? Right. I think she was implying that maybe the fact that she's anxious means it's something she shouldn't do, and how is she supposed to know?
Yeah. Yeah, anxious usually means that we're looking to receive from something as opposed to give to it. So she's anxious because there is a part of her that knows that
depending on it somehow.
depending that the surgery is filling a hole that maybe was created by someone from the past, or not feeling good enough, or failing at something. And we don't want the surgery to do that. We just want the surgery to reveal the truth of who you really are, right? We're not here to say don't put on makeup and just be happy without makeup. We're not saying that either. We're saying with or without makeup, make sure you love yourself. Now go put on some makeup so that you can feel beautiful. Great. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. It was important for me also. I want to make sure that our listeners know you can send in your questions. We won't read every single one online. I mean, this is one I answered a couple weeks ago, but it's very much connected to what we were talking about today, that, you know, where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be, like we said last week. And also recognizing that by me letting go of how dependent I am on something making me happy, that's another example of the letting go, the detaching from the outcome. I am going to be the same person whether it happens or not. And knowing that just because I'm nervous or I have a bad feeling about something, it's not necessarily because it's the right or wrong thing. As always, we want to thank all of our listeners for liking, rating, reviewing, and sharing. You can follow us on social media at Weekly Energy Boost on both Instagram and Facebook. Sometimes we post little tidbits there, little clips, quotes, things to help you continue to use the wisdom throughout the week. We also have a website, weeklyenergyboost.com, where we offer different things for our listeners. And very excited about the coming weeks. We're going to have even more Piscean topics to share with you. And if you have any questions you'd like to send to us, you can email us at energyboost@kabbalah.com. Have a fabulous one, and we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.